welcome back. I'm Dugout Man, and this is my Nantwich Town on the Up save. I'd like to thank you for sticking with me. This is quite an exciting episode because this is the first episode of a new season. As you can see, our friendlies have not gone particularly well, although they were deliberately against much better teams, trying to keep our finances above zero. But basically, we've got 6 defeats, 3 draws, and one very good friendly win against the Oxford under-21s. So there's not a lot to shout about in that, but the biggest things of interest will be who we've signed, but I'm not going to show you just yet. We're going to be starting today by playing Miclover. I mean, it'll be a good gauge of where we're at, because they finished quite high up last season. They were in the playoffs, if you remember, and this season we've got to see if we can just better ourselves on what we've got to achieve, really. So if we go to the league and the season preview and just see where we are, we're 40-1 to win the league. So that's not very exciting. We're predicted to finish 14th, which is lower than we finished last season. So they're suspecting us to drop just a little bit from where we were last time. And looking at the squad, that is distinctly possible, really. As you will see, we have a few new names, but pretty much most of the players are old guard or youngsters who came in the regens. We will look to get more loans in, but at the moment, everybody who have tried has turned me down, and so far we've managed to get one person in on loan. But I mean, this is going to be our initial starting lineup, but it is pretty much our best team anyway. Bar the fact we've got Matti Casilo, who is out with a torn groin, expected to be out for basically 2 months. So we've got Sean Bowles. Now Sean Bowles, he's a new guy. He's not particularly a very good keeper, but obviously we lost both of our keepers over the summer. Johnny Vegas retiring, which was a bit disappointing. But whilst his ability doesn't suggest he's very good, he's got 12 for handling, 12 for one-on-ones, and not a lot else really. But in terms of the league that we're in, he's a little bit of experience, which we're seriously going to be lacking without him this season. So he's going to be quite important. Now, Liam Brownhill, you'll remember him from last season. We had him on loan from FC United, I think it was, and he's 17 corners, 16 crossing, 17 free kick taken. Other than that, he's a pretty average player, but he certainly was getting us some good assists last season. So I'm hoping that now that we've signed him on a permanent deal, he will be useful to us. Then we've got Jonathan Ashton on loan. He's not a great player, but he's one of the few that would actually come to us. This is the little bit that worries me, to be honest, is that Warren Thompson, with all of his 2 tackling and 3 marking, he's the most experienced, the older of our central defenders. So the central defence is definitely a difficult place. Now Charlie Wolford, now he's a new signing, and he's quite promising actually. What have we got? He's got 10 for passing, 8 for heading, 7 for marking, 9 for tackling. Crossing's not too great at 4, but certainly his current ability is 4-star, and he's come in. He's only 17, so bags of opportunity for him to improve. So I think he'll do quite well for us. Then we've got Dominic Curtis. He is from our youth intake, if I remember correctly. Matti Casilo may take this place over when he's fit, but certainly this youngster's got an opportunity to grow a little bit over the next few weeks. Then we've got Elliot Osborne, was here last season. Bit mix and match on whether he's developing or not, but he was okay last season, pretty consistent. Josh Hancock, obviously our key player. He's going to be playing in the midfield roles this season because we've got so many left wingers and left backs that we're having to sort of find positions for them. We've got Andy White, who is a fullback really, but he's four-star ability, and really we've got to have him on the wing because he's the best of what we've got. I think Lewis Short is not far behind him, so he will be pressing him for that place. And of course we've got Matty Bell as well, also. So and then we've got Chris Speed. A lot rides on Chris Speed this season. I think he's going to be the player who either makes or breaks us. If he does really well, then I think we'll be okay. But if he doesn't do so well, Josh Gordon, we've managed to get him on a permanent contract. He was obviously on a rolling contract, so he could have been signed by anybody at any point. So I'm glad to get him at least signed up. He's got a little bit of pace about him, reasonable dribbling. His finishing's not great, but at least he's stopping with us now. Then we'll come across these guys a little bit more as we go through it. Kellen Riley, he's one of the guys who's come through our youth system. He's looking like he could be an excellent addition as the target man. I think we gave him a couple of appearances last season. If I look at the history, just the one appearance last season, but this season he'll come on as a substitute. And one other person to mention who I think is new is Oliver Warman. No, he's not new. Is Josh O'Connell. He's a backup keeper. He's got 11 for handling, 7 for one-on-ones, 11 for reflexes. Aerial reach is a bit of a concern, but again, not a very good keeper. But this one is at least somebody who can grow and improve. So we'll see how we go. But it's been really difficult, I have to say. I've not been able to find the right abilities of players to bring in. Nobody wants to play for Nantwich Town, it turns out. Even the crew loan opportunities. Tried to load every single player and only Ashton has come along. So that's how the team's going to line up. Josh Hancock, I don't know why I've still got that as that. I was going to put him on a central midfield attack, and Osborne is going to be on a central midfield. So we're keeping it quite simple. The supports are there. Curtis wants to be a bit further forward. We may have to retrain him because that's not the formation we're playing at the moment. And there's a reason we're playing this formation. This season we've got a lot of young players, and I want to try and utilise that in our instructions. We're going to be trying to press the life out of teams, and when we've got an actual defence that can defend, hopefully we'll be able to control the matches. But basically, because our defence is so poor, I think we're going to have to try and hang on to the ball quite a lot and try and keep hold of it, retain possession, and just try and hit them hard at the front end of it. But I think the utilising the wing backs is going to be key. We may even change our midfield into a four-man midfield and not have the wingers anymore. But we'll see how it goes as we've got it set on the 4-4-2. Chris Speed will be the target man, Gordon the advanced forward, and we've got to come off the bench Kellen Riley if we're able to give him a bit of experience. We've kept hold of the 4-2-4 formation, and we've also got a 4-4-2 narrow diamond just to try and pack the midfield if certain formations come against us. We've decided to ditch the 3-5-2 simply because I wasn't using it, and the only couple of occasions I used it, I think it only worked once. So we've just decided to concentrate on the 4-4-2s for now and see how we go with that. Last thing to show you before we get into the game is the finances. They're about just short of £10,000, which isn't great, but at least we should start getting a little bit of income now from the matches, and from that, hopefully, we'll be able to kick on and start making a little bit of money. As you can see, we're under budget in the wage budget, and that's how it's going to stay. We may just loan in a couple of defenders, but other than that, I don't think we'll be making too many more deals. Perhaps one more striker if somebody's available who looks of interest. We do have the bonus with this division that everything is that everything transfer wise is open right the way through till nearly the end of the season. So if things aren't going very well, we can start looking at pushing the budgets up and bringing in a couple of players just to strengthen the team. But in this division, it's going to be as much about the tactics as it is about the players. So we'll see how we go. In our very first game, this will be a good overview, a good judge of where we're at. I'm not expecting miracles in the first sort of 10 games. I think I'd be happy with 10 points from the first 10 games. And more than happy if we can hit anything higher than 15. So that's sort of the minimal targets. But ultimately, at the end of the season, we want to be aiming for between 70 and 75 points. So let's see how we go. So what will be interesting with this season is really how we do in terms of the pressing game that we're looking to play. It's almost German in the style, I suppose, that we're going for, is to try and get hold of the ball and keep hold of the ball, and when the other team's got the ball, just try and panic them into mistakes. And in the first 10 minutes, you can see 55% so far. It is going down rapidly, but hopefully that won't be a reflection of the way the game's going to go. So this is the first highlight, which gives us any sort of idea of the capabilities of a tactic and the capabilities of a defence, which I don't actually know where the defence were. So as we watch the replay, you've got two centre backs here, is it? I'm just going to pause that just because I want to know. So where's the other centre back? It's not Hancock. It's... oh, I don't know. Unless he's on the sidelines injured. We were definitely a man down somewhere there. But that is disappointing, to say the least. So there we are, half time. No highlights to speak of. 1-0 down. It's been pretty disappointing so far. Assertively, I expect to see a much better showing of you. We'll just push it on to control a little bit more. We are away from home, so perhaps a counter would have been the way to go. Let's see if we can get some kind of domination in the second half. So we're just over an hour into it. We need to start considering making a few changes. So we'll go to the main tactics screen, and I think Chris Speed's been a bit disappointing, but I really want to see him do something today. So I'm going to bring on Keller Riley up front as the target man. Chris Speed can have a go at the advance forward, and ideally we needed a centre back, but we don't really have one. So what I'm going to do is let Matty Bell have a go there. He's not particularly any good there, but can't be any worse than defenders that we've got. So I mean that's what we desperately need is a centre back or two. But like I say, the biggest challenge has been getting anyone of any kind of ability to sign for us or come on loan to us. So Brownhill takes the throw. Riley with a head on. Speed is chasing it up. Ah, oh, great save by Atkins, the keeper. Good reflexes. As Brownhill crosses the ball in, and it's going to be cleared. Could this be the counter attack now? Oh, Curtis, what are you doing? Oof. That had me worried for a moment then. So 75 minutes in. The clock's ticking away. Let's go much higher tempo. Punt the ball into the box. and let's see if that will help us. The old legs are beginning to tire on the players, and time is ticking away. But we have a highlight with Wolford to White to Hancock to Osborne. Osborne picks Curtis out. Great ball across. Speed, it's fallen for Speed, and there it is, his first goal of the season. He is the man who all our hopes are pinned upon. And it was a somewhat a lucky takedown, but a good finish to set us on our way for the season. Curtis, controlled by Speed. Actually, it wasn't too bad, and a lovely finish in the end. And that will do very nicely. A draw away from home to Mickleover wouldn't be the worst result in the world. But could there be more? Still time for a goal. As Wolford puts a cross in, Osborne heads, Brownhill. 16 crossing, and not as good a passing. So Bell, Matty Bell, playing out of position. Bowles clears it forward. This could be the end highlight now. We might not see another chance. Curtis. So the passing's something that we've got to work on, really. So that was an interesting game because we didn't have many highlights, and what highlights we did have haven't told us a lot about the tactic. So, but actually, in terms of the result, 1-1 away from home to a team that is a top half team, I think we can take that. And then what I'll do is I'll progress quite far through the first half of the season just to see how we do, and hopefully by then we'll have developed a team. So I'll play the games up to, let's see where we've got. So obviously we're going to have some cup games as well, but I'll probably play somewhere up to maybe Matlock, Spennymoor or Whitby, and then I'll come back to you, and hopefully that 1-1 draw that we've had will become something of a much better looking season for us. We have a lot of away games coming up, so the next few games could be crucial. And then when we come back, we'll see how we get on through that spell of home games, and hopefully that will have set up our stall for the rest of the season. But certainly we'll give ourselves about 10 or so games just to get a feel for how the season's going, and come back and give you a report on how we're doing, the new signings that we bring in, and hopefully that will strengthen the team, especially in the defence. But thank you for listening, and I'll come back to you as soon as we have a bit more news. Thanks for listening. See you now.